Whoa.
Woo! What is that?
I
I
don't
pushed. I
know.
pushed. I
You have a
pushed an
Canon?
extra. I pushed an extra button. I don't know what these little the effects. Oh, enhance. I don't know what I pushed here. Sorry,
This is cool.
Oh, no,
Mr.
I liked it.
Non-technical. Is it
It's a
moving?
Oh,
cannonball.
because you're gonna blow up.
What does this one do? Oh, I got little kittens. How cute is that? So we're gonna stop playing right now because we got some serious stuff to talk about here.
No, but
So
sometimes
You
we
need to laugh a little. It's a
I
hard week for
agree.
you.
I
It's a
agree.
hard week.
Well, and I don't wanna kill this too fast either because I'm very excited for what we got to do.
what's
And
happening
January 10th. Anyone that follows me is already aware it's my birthday.
Claudia's birthday,
is
January
the worst
10th.
day of.
Of Bill's life.
It
But he got
started the
adopted
worst
From
day.
it. So that's a
Yeah,
heightened plus
yeah.
from it. I was adopted.
Well, and for me, I gotta say, the January 10th means a little something different. It was the day that it started the process, which led to the first worst day of my life and the second worst day, all within 11 days. And that's when I lost my son to the greed and tactics of the pharmacy benefit managers. And it was one of the top three, taking his prescription price up to $539.19 from like $66 last year. Didn't tell him they were going to do it. Didn't tell him they were taking away his medicine off the formulary for no medical reason. And it's now going to be exposed. On January 10th, we're going to start the process of exposing the greed and the tactics. And that's modernmedicalmafia.com, as you can see on the screen. And on that website, you can sign up to get on the wait list
We
for.
need as many of you guys on here to go and sign up on that wait list. Let's see how many people we can actually get. I'd like to know. I'd like to see. I'd like to see. So
I
Yeah.
typed it all out.
you just go there, sign up for any updates for Modern Medical Mafia. It's premiering January 10th. But
Yep.
as Bill says, he has enough stuff to like produce probably 8 more episodes because
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
just
We're
it's a
talking
never
about it.
ending
I'm
trail.
talking with the producers at Patient Protector that are making this, and we've got some other ideas in play. We don't want to get the cart too before the horse. We want to manage what we manage because one thing, and we may talk big, and we got producers and Patient Protector, but remember, everything we do is self-funded on a grassroots organization. I mean, like self-funded. Nobody's getting any corporate sponsorships. That's not us. We're not here to make money. We're here to stop death. We're here to stop the pain. We're here to keep pharmacies open. And the total goal for Patient Protector, which is producing Modern Medical Mafia and the website modernmedicalmafia.com, is all natural grassroots. And it's right down below on the notice board there
And
that's the
just,
website you got to go to. You go
It's
there.
very easy. You just put in a little bit of information and it'll give you updates almost every day, or well, not every day, just like counting up. I received an update today that like the premiere's on the 10th. So it
Yep.
would just mean a lot to both of us if you guys would just go and subscribe for updates.
Yeah, get your updates from modernmedicalmafia.com. Sign up. It takes a couple minutes. It's really pretty
not
simple.
even a couple minutes.
It's probably like 30 seconds, if that.
Depending on your computer ability, by the time you either start it up, go to Google, type in a thing, you're
I'll
done.
do it for you.
If it gets to 5 minutes, let me do it for you.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But I mean, the reality is we all know websites. We all pretty much have email addresses. We have what we need. You have everything. We've made it easy for you to be involved, get part of the motion, be part of it. I mean, like you signing up on that wait list is more than meets the eye. Yes, we're going to keep you notified about a docu-series that's going to blow the lid off. But what we're also going to do is I would love, as people ask me about this docu-series, as I consider my advocacy out there, and even as Claudia continues her advocacy out there, we're part of changing history here. And to change the history, we're being forced to do this to stop people from dying.
Well, and
Pharmacies
there's huge
closing.
Targets on our backs, and there's
Yes.
people that are scared to the point of retaliation that they're remaining anonymous. Like this
Yes.
isn't just
Well,
child's play.
that is one unique thing about our wait list. We have an option to remain anonymous. And when we get done with all the results of this wait list, we will show that number of people who signed up. Hopefully it's 1 million. That'd be pretty awesome. I don't know.
I got
Excited about 1 million. I think we could do
and
it.
I'm not going to share what the number is right now. In true transparency, I haven't checked today, but it's not 1 million yet. But we're doing a pretty damn good job. I mean, like it's getting there a little bit. But when we get all done with this, we're going to take this wait list and use it to help continue to bring change. The more people that showed the interest to sign up for this, isn't that just like a petition? Or I just simply tell maybe a congressman who doesn't want to support PBM reform that, hey, we made this amazing docuseries that just exposed all this. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. But if I could tell them, I got 1 million people.
Thank you, Shayna.
That, signed up to wait for this movie and now are part of this movement. That's powerful stuff right there. And all you have to do today is go to modernmedicalmafia.com, fill out a little piece of information. If you don't want emails, you don't want to be bothered, you can do that too. Just sign up and show your support, watch a trailer, that's fine. We're okay with that. We're not pushing it.
It takes a village, they say, and this is your way of showing that you're going to be part of the village of change and not stand with these huge Fortune $500 billion companies. There's no reason there should be a Fortune $500 billion company standing in the way of a kid getting their inhaler. That's gross. It's gross.
Mm-hmm. Well, then analyze that statement. I would love to know how many small countries have $500 billion in cash on hand at the end of the year. That'd be interesting fact to see.
The United States doesn't even. What do you mean? We're trillions in debt.
But I'm just saying, these top 3 PBMs have more money than some small countries. That's factual.
Right.
I mean, holy shit.
Insane.
Yeah, probably bigger countries too. But Shanna Smith, thank you so much. And I'm, Shanna Smith, I do. I think you heard my story. If not, patientprotector.us, Modern Medical Mafia will all expose it. But after losing my son and being in an ICU from January 15th through January 21st, I got to meet a couple nurses. The nurses at the Appleton Medical Center are known, and they're known as Team Awesome up there. And they got me and my wife and my family through tragedy, and I wish I could do more for them all, but they were amazing. And they're not the only amazing nurses and doctors out there, don't get me wrong. That was my personal best experience, though, and they were there at the right time. There's a nurse, her name was Mama Kim. She was awesome. Senior nurse, and then there was young nurse Jordan, who had the same tattoo as Cole on his wrist, little smiley face. She also wanted to just be happy. This is crazy.
Those people, and I highly doubt that those nurses even realize the impact that they had on you, because a lot of times it's not shown.
Well, angry dad, isn't always angry. And as I'm here today, one of probably, I don't want to say thousands, but maybe of thousands of parents in 2024 who had a kid killed, died, lost. I don't know what the number is. I have no factual information. But there was at least one, and that was my son. And I know of a couple more, so there's at least 1 or 2. That's too many 22-year-olds dying because they couldn't get their medicine alone. But,
formulary.
Due to just a change in their policy. Just
a non-medical decision was made that cost him his life. And what I'm getting at is, back to Claudia, they may not realize, and I know they probably don't truly realize, but I have made it my mission also to make sure they recognize how special they are. There's some little antics that might happen at these medical facilities. If you make a mistake, you may have to buy lunch for people, or I know at a certain Appleton Medical Center, if you make a little mistake, we're not talking like a big mistake. We're talking like a little mistake. You got to, well, hey, I'll say it this way. If you're pulling I don't know, I don't want to be gross here, but if you're pulling a feeding tube out of somebody and there's something that can happen, like they can throw up on you or something like that, I guess. If that does happen, you got to buy dilly bars for the whole floor. I mean, like, it's these little things that are non-consequential, that little goofy stuff to keep the camaraderie going. Well, we made sure, it's kind of silly, that everybody at the Appleton Medical Center got recognized to be a member of Team Awesome on a personalized Yeti cup. I mean, just crazy stuff. And I delivered 64 dilly bars one day and 3 months worth of dilly bars. So the next 3 people who make mistakes, or if it's just a good day, they could get some more. And we try to keep that going. Keep that going a little bit.
I mean, honestly, even working in a practice, it gets exhausting. People are so mad, and it's not their fault. I mean, they don't feel good. I understand, but it's like they take it out on us. We are the face that gets taken out most of the frustrations, even though like the person that's dealing with it, it's not their fault. And that's something I always try to like tell people, especially if they're working in the medical field. They're not screaming at you. They're screaming at what's going on in their lives and the pain they're in and the frustration of the situation. And
yeah, I mean, like, and going back to Cole's story, the pharmacy didn't give him his medicine. Factual. The pharmacy had nothing to do with it. Right. They can't just give medicine out unless it's approved. They don't approve it. The PBMs do. And like,
so graceful of you to think that way too, because to be honest, I wouldn't have thought that far. I would have been pissed at the pharmacist.
Oh, sure.
Didn't you just give them the inhaler? Like, what's it going to cost you? You guys don't drop them sometimes?
Well, and I got to be honest, that was a chain pharmacy, a very corporately chained pharmacy. And, I still don't get furious with it. I get furious of the product of the chain pharmacy, from the understaffing and this and that. But I can tell you this, the independent pharmacy had the exact different reaction to that whole situation. And they're still dealing with the understaffing and the under reimbursement, just like a chain pharmacy. But the independent took the extra step. And that's why it's so vital to save them. And Modern Medical Mafia.
Erica Shana.
Yeah, I just saw that too. How do we get her? We should get her on in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Shanna Smith, do you want to reach out to C Money or myself? We're going to go live
tomorrow too.
To this with some other people. I would have no problem with her joining if she wants.
Yeah, if she has TikTok, we'll get her on here right now. We love first-time callers, long-time listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have some more going in the next couple of days, though, too. So, yeah, awesome. Some other stuff out there. Like I said, we're talking about modernmedicalmafia.com, the docu-series that will expose it all. It'll be pre-released at a big event.
And it's right below.
Down below.
Just go to that website and fill out. You answer, I think, like 4 questions. You don't even have to get continuous updates, but you might as well, because I know you're getting stupid updates from your Netflix subscription. So might as well get it from Modern Medical Mafia.
Yeah, it's going to change. It's going to change this industry. As Shanna Smith says, she would like to. She's the one helping us fight the corporate greed of healthcare. Hey, guess what we're doing too? We should all work together.
But have you noticed?
See, Money's fighting corporate greed. Angry Dad's fighting corporate greed. Hundreds and actually thousands and thousands and thousands of pharmacists across the nation are fighting corporate greed.
But then we have 40,000 United Healthcare employers fighting against us.
Mm-hmm. And guess what? They got this big purse of $500 billion too. That's a lot of freaking money.
I can't even picture that. Like, I'm having a hard time remembering if I'm thinking of million or billion. Like, I don't know if I'm adding enough zeros. That's how.
You're probably not. It's more zeros than at this point any of us are ever going to see in our lives.
The negatives in my life. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This everything drains. Everything frickin' drains, and we're messing with
a lot of money, because these insurance companies, let's be honest, at the end of the day, they're all owned by private equity, BlackRock, Vanguard, all these other like huge companies. It's just hidden behind. You have to go through so much stuff to get to the 4 main companies.
Who's looking to buy Walgreens Boots Alliance right now? Oh, a private equity. It was just on the news.
Why do they go buy private equity?
Because they don't want anyone to know who they are.
Well,
And
what's
why don't they
really
want anyone to know who they are?
well, and guess what? Because they're the mafia. They act like a mafia. Rico, mafia-like tactics. And
It's
like
crazy that you and I
let's focus on that
have
real quick though. Your private equity, standard PBM, United vertical integration and all that shit spawns that private equity. And we brought up a new version of a company that's trying to clean up the PBM industry. It's called Affirmed RX, and it's a public benefit corporation, pharmacy benefit corporation, excuse me. Guess what they
see,
don't
I just
have?
feel like that's just another layer, though. There's
But
always these
they,
layers. We just need it to be like the doctor prescribing and the patient getting the medication and it being covered,
well,
2080.
that's what Affirmed RX is. It's a pass through. So it like literally, there's always a path to treatment. They don't say no. That's a fact. And think about this though too. You got to remember this. This is the only thing that I'll support the need for the middleman. Who's going to manage 10,000 employees and pay all the arthritis centers and all the medical centers when the bills do come in? And unless we go to a whole different structure of healthcare, and I'm not saying I'm against any of that stuff. I mean, like, but with what we got, there still is some rationalisms, like when the PBM started and what their purpose was supposed to be and where it is today, irrational. But there is some basic stuff that might still need to happen just to process the paperwork. And you know what? A place like Affirmed RX is not taking profit, huge profit. They don't have private equity. They have public investors, so they're completely transparent. And we have other places popping up like the cost plus drug, like the scenarios of cost plus drugs. We'll say there's a lot of them out there.
Alex Oshie.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, there's going to be right now. There's forming up stuff that can kind of help while we're battling PBM reform, is what I'm getting at. And there's some people out there that are trying to do the right thing. They're just masked by the power of the top three and control of 82% of everything in this whole world, all vertically integrated, billions of dollars. So the couple stragglers out that are trying to do it right are struggling to do it right, but they're going to make some headway as PBM reform happens. And the modern medical mafia will show all of that. And it's also going to help lead the charge for PBM reform. Look down on the notice board, see money's pointing to it. It'll get a little more interactive soon here as we get closer to the January 10th release date, pre-release date, the teasers, the true teasers of what's happening on the 1-year anniversary of my son.
I wonder
So
if we could do like a little, just like an event in total and have a couple, like have your thing play, have different ones playing and have it like a whole thing where we all come together, as a group. And then
possibly.
and because I have the stuff for us to do an event in St. Louis and it's only $250. So you do that during springtime, get some food trucks going on, put up a few projectors.
Well, I don't want to commit right now, but one thing that people don't know about Angry Dad, I wasn't always mad. Um, I can put on a little soiree for hundreds of people and they will eat good. I'll just say that. I have some equipment that sits at my house that I get yelled at for having too much of. And give me a 200 people and we're going to eat well. And I could help with all that though someday for sure. And I can travel with some of it if necessary, so.
Because, like, I think that'd be cool, and we need to do something, like, because with it, we just need to be in more places, The more places we can be, the more places that people can meet Angry Dad. Like, I don't even have, we haven't even met in person.
You know what? It feels like we have. I mean, we've done some fun stuff on TikTok. You mean you were scamming CVS for me at their health conference, getting an amazing little engraved cup, and I got to meet the
Julie.
Julie with B for Broomstick. I got to meet her.
And
You
if you
know,
don't like Claudia, if you thought Claudia had a bad attitude, you're gonna love me.
yes. Hey, you have the best bathroom manager ever. I'll say that, and practice manager too. But I mean, like, yeah.
She's definitely been the most amazing, like,
Well,
person to look up to. I
stop
can't
and
think of
think
the
about
word.
the amazing. Stop and think about the amazingness that the Arthritis Center has committed to, and let's talk fiscal just a smidgen here. So there's the Arthritis Center that's had some tough times over the last couple months, and it's still here.
Hardest year, I would say. Julie started with a back surgery at the beginning of the year, and we were like, it can only go up from here. It can only go up from here.
Well, and I'm not looking for any details, but C Money doesn't walk in that office for free. Maybe she would because that's the way she is, but she doesn't walk in there for free. She's got to collect a little something every week. She has to. But the practice manager has to also manage everything else that's going on. And that includes the day-to-day, keeping the lights on, and allowing somebody. Well, I was just going to say managing C Money, but the reality is the fact that I assume Dr. Bach and the broomstick to having people like C Money at the place. You know what I mean? And
it's so crazy because so I was almost going to get fired, right? And Julie's daughter actually goes, Mom, this is the first time in 7 years that you've worked with Dad at the business that you've said someone has actually helped you. Like, there's something to that. And that's kind of, I think that lit a light bulb in Julie's head. And then she's like, you're right. I'll just have her sit across from me. So I sit across from her, and we just all day long, it's me or her on the phone, and they're like, I need your manager. And I'm like, you really don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen it. We've all seen it. And it is what needs to happen with our stacked system. You know the difference between the mafia tactics of the PBMs and the other mafia
they at least pay out sometimes.
Well, they have a moral ethics to an extent. You don't break the rules
right.
in the real mafia, or something might happen to you. Here, it's just a free-for-all, and they use the mafia-like tactics. Holy shit. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We can't even take them to court because they're busy suing the people that review them because they don't agree with their star ratings.
Yeah. Did you guys get a cease and desist letter for some of your stuff one or two times?
Absolutely. I mean, we had Aetna emailing Julie, get off TikTok. So then we had when you talk about reimbursement or whatever meeting, and Julie's like, I want you in this meeting. And I was like, okay. And she's like, at the end of the meeting, she's like, okay, my social media person's here. Do you have anything you want to talk about? And they're like, nope, have a good day.
Wow.
And Cigna sent us the cease and desist and tried to say we were trying to compete with them.
Compete with what?
With Cigna.
With what?
With them. As in provide health care, provide health insurance services.
You guys are, but I was just going to say, you guys are a healthcare facility who provides medical care to people who need it.
Actually provides care, doesn't just
I suppose, you know what? You are probably competing with them. Aren't they vertically integrated and own hospitals and doctors?
Right. And then, not to mention, they don't add into that the physicians whose insurance is through United. So in a way, United owns them too.
Well, and think about this a little bit too. I mean, like it or not, what's our society based on? Is it called this? Starts with a C, and it's not C Money. It's capital something. I'm not going to get into all that. Yes, thank you. But the reality is, that's our society. It's not changed today, and if they want to worry about Arthritis Center in Missouri, beating them.
Whenever that was the first time Julie was ever actually very scared and was like, we need to pull back a little bit. We need to pull back a little bit. And I looked at her and I go, Julie, this is a Fortune 500, this is a huge company. We're in Bridgeton, Missouri. We're literally a pedal. Like a raindrop. And they're sending us a cease and desist. We're making waves in a puddle.
That's crazy. Hey, I got a question. Do you have a post that was it 1.4 million out there somewhere?
Oh, we have a couple that are in the millions.
And God, we are talking about exciting stuff here, just exciting. That should get 1.4 million. Come on, America. Let's fix this PBM problem so we can go have C Money get 1.4 million views so she can do cartwheels or something. Even though Pin P Pew says you can't do a cartwheel today, but that's okay. I would rather see cartwheels than have to talk about this stuff.
Right. I mean, I'll be doing cartwheels as soon as there's, something
Hey, guess what?
fixed.
My goals now. So this happened in 24. Me and my wife and my other son. And what I'm talking my personal story with right now. I don't want to take away from anybody else's, but I'm going to just share personally. What a year! What a shitty year! Tragedy, and then final tragedy. And it's been a tough year, and it's hard to explain. And if you don't lose a person in your life, I'm not saying you can't understand.
On a different precedent. Losing a
It's,
child,
it's
you're
just
not.
something that, I was just actually with my dad a little while ago. And similar to, unfortunately, C Money's story, my father lost a son. I lost a brother to opioids, all part of this messed up system. And, it's not the first time tragedy has struck me personally when I lost my brother. I didn't feel it like my dad did, though. And unfortunately, I figured out what he felt like. And that's something I don't even wish on anybody. You know what? Let's just say the comment here. Somebody else died this year from a big healthcare organization. That did happen, and it happened the way it happened, and it is what it is. I don't condone.
I'll say it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I still wouldn't even probably wish it on to a family like that. That's just me personally. Everybody can disagree with me, but
I agree.
such
I
a
don't.
shitty thing. My worst enemy doesn't need to feel like this.
Whenever my brother was like, it was like his diagnosis was he was going to die. My dad drank himself to death. So like your strength in itself is admirable
I
because
mean,
most people can't stand after the fact, and I've witnessed it.
yeah. Hey, yeah,
You're
Sickler.
standing for
Look at
other
that down at the
people.
bottom there, Sickler family. Yeah, goddamn right. Goddamn right. So let's just share.
Addictive. It's
I know, Claudia,
addictive.
you shared a little deep into your the story of your brother the other day, and I'm not asking you to go through that again, but I want to share just a little bit about my brother. So my brother, not perfect, awesome. Andrew was his name. Awesome guy. Minnesota Vikings fan. You don't like that part of it. But my brother Andrew broke his wrist one day, and that ended his life. So what happened, obviously, back with the OxyContin debacle that the PBMs were involved with even back then, which is just exposed, by the way. Not saying that the pharmaceutical companies back then did anything right either, because they were just as complicit back then. But broke his wrist and it caused him to die. I mean, how do you die from a broken wrist? Oh, you get hooked on OxyContin and spend the next 12 years of your life battling addiction. And then you even get a reset in your life. One day I picked him up at a McDonald's in 20 below weather. He jumped in my truck. I took him to my parents' house. We detoxed him. And then I took him into my life, and he lived with me for 2 years. I had an opportunity for a work traveling project. I was able to house him, keep him clean, keep him sober, get him back into an awesome world. 2 years, 3 months, 6 days, he got better in his life. That's all I can say. I'll be right there. Sorry. And I live with that too because I think I failed on that. I feel like I did. But
No, and my best friend's mom actually, because when I stayed with her, and she gets on me for this all the time, and she's like, Claudia, you did everything you could do, and you
that's,
did everything you could do,
and I know I
and
did. I know I did, and I've come to terms with it, but I still
your gut,
wish. I mean, because here's the thing: when he broke his wrist and he took the first pill, it's just like that set his life into a trajectory of whatever. And one thing's for certain: he wasn't the only one. And here we
I
are.
get this feeling of
something of peace that they've never felt before. It's like they live in this constant state of anxiety, and then they try it and they feel at peace. Like all of their worries that they've been feeling, just they don't care. It
Well, you
doesn't
don't even know.
matter.
I know what was his anxiety because I was helping him work through it as we cleared him from the drugs, and I didn't have a brother that I remembered. But you know, and
I don't blame the doctor. I mean, there are people that require pain medication to live. There are chronically ill people, and as much as personally I hate even having to say that, in order to have a decent quality of life, they're going to have something to manage their pain.
but I want to say
So,
something about blaming the doctor there. Shanna Smith, I appreciate all your comments, Shanna. You're doing a great job. Thank you for that. And you said the doctor prescribed the pill, blame them, but go up to your comment above there. That family invested heavily in good looking salespeople, deceptive marketing practices up to the Federal Drug Administration, and lied to get those doctors to, let's just say, drink the Kool-Aid to give it. I busted my knee years ago. I got bottles of Oxycontin at 60 at a time. I was worried about getting hooked, and my doctor, who I trusted just up until he retired a couple of years ago, was like, "You're fine. It's not addictive." I remember hearing that statement. And then I see this movie and go, "Holy shit, I am so lucky I'm not addicted." I mean, I was getting tons of them. You know, I mean, like bottles of 60 Oxycontins at a time. And like
and being
every
told it's not
week,
addictive. And
you
then,
know, I am
well,
so
and
lucky.
Jessica
That's it.
said my mother's been on it for 15 years. And it's like at 15 years, how do you get off it?
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
It's
Well,
routine.
Status Coop again, the one that just did that awesome article
It was
about.
so good.
Well,
Your interview was amazing, also.
yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that news organization, like I said, we're not going left, we're not going right, we're not looking at corporate here. We're looking at boots on the ground, grassroots type stuff. That's what's going to make this change because we're not influenced by lobbyists or money or anything. And at this point, other than my wife and my other son, which I nothing will ever happen to them if I can stop it, but I don't care. I don't care. I lost my firstborn, and status quo kind of reminds me of like some of those people there because their stories as we're sitting here talking about this stuff, you know, we talked about um, you know, just the simple fact of we had that United Healthcare worker that they did an article on that said their supervisors used to laugh and stand behind them while they were denying and push them to steer off. You just said something, Claudia. Refresh my memory real quick here. It's another status quo. But you just said, what did you just say?
I don't know.
Oh shit! You just brought something up about oh, the opioids again. Yeah, about the 15 years and our comment from
Oh, yeah.
Jessica West. There was a client on there that they interviewed talking about how addicted he was to opioids, and his situation could have been resolved with a surgery or something of some sort. I don't remember all the details, but long and short of it, they wanted them to
I work
get.
for a pain management clinic, and I've seen both the good and the bad with pain medicine. Some of our addiction treatment patients struggle so bad, but our success stories are my favorites.
Great comment. Excellent comment. I mean, like,
Sorry, I
seriously.
had to interrupt you to read that because that did make
No, no,
me.
no, 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 no. When you can win, when you can, oh, hey, once again, like I said on earlier today and our other one, but I had said today, every little tick mark that we can do, every time I'm going to assume Claudia gets off a phone and she heard the word next day air, here's your tracking number. We got it for you, which I've seen some end very positively. I've seen some aggressive conversations for a long time and it ends positively. You know, so both situations should never happen. We shouldn't have to be making these calls. But I mean, like the little wins keep the sanity. And like I said, success stories are the favorites out there. And there's not, I wish there was,
Me,
I
I'd
want
like to talk
all,
to you about that.
I want them all to be successful. I
I
would,
mean, it's just, especially if they could all be successful, and it's just like, especially with pain management, like when Dr. Bach passed away, I called every single primary care physician. Not one would fill their pain medication. So these are people that have been on the medicine, like they came to our patient or our office already hooked on it. And like we're just asking 30 days, like just to help them manage. They can't move their fingers. Like let's let this 85-year-old patient like have her medicine so she can like feel okay. And they're like, no, we're not doing it.
Well, hey, I saw something. There's this little mini series or a little mini documentary called Overturned. Do you know about that one?
Page. Yeah.
Yes, that's yours. And reality is, you have a patient in there. I love that story. She got her first treatment. But what could she do again, Claudia? You remember this? She could walk. She, and no pain.
We had a
And
patient
did
that
she get like
came in
3 treatments and then all of a sudden they
Yes.
denied it and then she was not in pain again? Why all of a sudden?
and she grandbabies.
It's like, and like these people's, that's what I don't think people understand. I feel like people almost look at it as like they're just denying ibuprofen because we're prescribing an unnecessary amount. It's like, no, no. They're denying treatments that are like that are improving these people's overall quality of life to where without this medication, they can't even get out of bed.
Well, and let's put some tests to what we're talking about here because you and I can say what we want. We have no reason to lie. There's no doubt about that. We're not making money off this shit. And as I've worked around the country, as I'm getting more involved with this, I I hope this is appropriate, C Money, but there's a counterpart in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at a rheumatoid arthritis center also. I'll say her first name, Nilsa.
I love Nilda.
Yeah, their offices are the same kind of function, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in person there the other day when PBS was there doing some interviews. I did not jump,
Yes.
but I was there. There's some videos that she posted on it. She brought in some specific patients for this, and I got to meet firsthand these people that are just getting screwed with, and the treatments and the drugs. I mean, like, it's like, holy shit! This is
You'll end
your day in tears.
You're in Bridgeton, Missouri, right? You said right, and
Bridgeton, yeah.
Bridgeton in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're not next door, but I know for a fact your branch manager and bathroom monitor happens to know. Probably, we'll just say, I'm not going to call her a bathroom monitor because she's never claimed it, but she does run a little show over there for her husband, who
She's
is
a
the
firecracker.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. She wanted to help me one time. I see we lost Claudia. Let's see if we can get her back here real quick. So that person wanted to help me one time with something in my mission, and it was the most painful, dry thing she was going to do as far as reviewing some information of mine to help my mission. She was excited
loves it.
about it. I sent it to
She
her on a
loves
Friday.
it.
And then on Sunday, by like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, after going through 400 pages, she gave me the summary with little cliff notes about you should do this and that. I'm like, how do you stay awake? But
No, it's absolutely amazing. Like in this woman's free time, she's like reading the updated contracts to different like insurance policies, and she'll like send us a snippet like, can you believe this is what was in yada yada, this was what was in whatever. Like she sent us something like with United Healthcare, how they're gonna make it like, I can't remember so I don't want to say it, but just like constantly purple. And no, I love Nilza, and she's just
so strong.
too because she fights day in and day out, and she's a genius. She understands, she may not speak a lot of English,
is she
but
Puerto
she like
Rican?
understands it better than
What is-
anyone.
what- I think, is she Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Feisty young lady. I love it.
She is
She's awesome.
Freaking
She's made that statement to me
firecracker.
before, so I can say that because she's a
yeah.
firecracker. She is. So
my
hey,
God,
She is so great.
well, I do have to cut here. I have some stuff I have to do, but I want to say modernmedicalmafia.com and the notice board. Go there, get on the wait list for the Modern Medical Mafia. It's going to be the docu-series that's going to blow the lid off the PBM's greed and tactics, and it's being based on a national review, physical 12,000 miles driven across the nation by the producers from Patient Protector who are remaining anonymous out of fear of retribution put together. And January 10th is a pre-release event. Join us. Follow on Claudia's social media, my social media. You can find links to the live event. I believe you can get it at modernmedicalmafia.com and find out the information for the live event. It'll be live from a very small town in Wisconsin where a pharmacy chain was formed many, many years ago. That's now currently at 60 pharmacies, but they had 65 a month ago and 70 at the beginning of the year. So they're 10 pharmacies down. So that pharmacy has been really helping us with a lot of things because of their alarming closing rates, just like every other pharmacy in the nation. However, Modern Medical Mafia will bring all these issues to light. You're going to open, what's that phrase? Pandora's box. But
We're gonna pull the curtains back, see who's behind the. What did they say on the Wizard of Oz?
Oh yes. Gosh, we got to get up on our facts.
Don't look behind the velvet curtains or something.
Yep,
That's what
absolutely.
it is. It's this. We have these little people that are just probably little wimps.
I agree. So, hey, thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow and the next day, probably. I don't know how we're doing this, but I do know tomorrow is going to be even better than today. We did a lot of talking and a lot of fun conversations and little interactions with, I don't know what JAG means or GA modifier. What the hell is that? I'm so sorry. I'm not a medical person, but awesome.
That's what I think when I see
Georgia
GA, but that's because I was
modifier.
born there.
But either way, everybody who's viewed us today, thank you truly so much. And let's give the typical social media so we can all help. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever that crap is. I'm 60 days, maybe 90 days into social media. I don't know. But what I am saying,
almost, I'd say.
but what I'm going to say is grassroots is the way we have to do this. You guys can be part of this mission. Let's change history together. And thank you. Bye. What is it? Fiddlesticks.
Oh yeah, fiddlesticks.